Deepwater Web is Furtherfield's autumn exhibition, and it's featuring work by John Conomos, who's based in Australia, and Stephen Ball, who lives here in London.
When John and I first started talking about this idea of doing this work together, he was very interested in the idea of bringing in the themes of global capitalism, global warming, and the internet. At that time, I'd just read a book by Timothy Morton called Hyperobjects. These are objects that are so large that they can't be apprehended in their entirety by us puny humans, basically. When he writes about global warming, he writes about global warming as a hyperobject. So the only way that we know about global warming is if we can appreciate local manifestations of it. So that might be to do with the local climate, the weather, the rainfall. One of those indicators is water levels. The one thing that occurred to us about London and Sydney is that they are cities that are built on large bodies of water. There's a historical significance to the relevance of water between the two places, because in colonial times people went to Australia by boat, by water. So this was two things that the two cities have in common that we use as kind of themes that link them. So there are lots of diverse sources for the material in the show. But broadly speaking, everything we're seeing seems to suggest a kind of rhetorical, perhaps even ideological approach to the way information is circulated and received. The installation here at the gallery is sort of an immersive experience of the material that we're pulling together for the project. On the website, what you'll find is very much the same video and sound material, for example, that you'll find in the installation, but there's also a lot more contextualizing material. The board game was the result of a day-long workshop that we did with some local teenagers where we explored themes of global warming through objects and information. So the projections in the installation consist of material shot by drones, material that we've taken from the web of severe weather in Australia and the UK, marketing material from developers of waterside properties, and historical material around the work of the docks in both cities, so things that relate to the water. The thing that John and I were most interested in was the idea of bringing material together that relate to the various themes, so global warming, global capital, the internet, and various manifestations of that, to really suggest that these things exist as a kind of ecology in themselves.